Hello and welcome. Happy Friday, everybody. I am here this afternoon with a quick follow-up after our huge webinar yesterday on how to get solar approved for your strata building. Thank you to everybody who joined me live on that webinar. We had over 300 people registered to attend that webinar. It was awesome. I am hearing from so many of you how much you enjoyed it and how helpful you found the content. So thank you for that. If you haven't caught the webinar, the replay is available. You want to head over to solarlegalkit.com and you will see the video there for you. But right now, I am also going to give you a flying summary of the key points that I covered off in the webinar, a webinar light, if you like. And I'm also going to share with you my own copy of the Solar for Strata Legal Toolkit, which I talk about on the webinar. I do give a sneak peek of that on the webinar, but I am planning to share my screen with you here today and show you around the kit a little bit more. But first up, I want to share with you some additional resources that have been sourced by some of our experts who were on the webinar with us, as well as our councils, the City of Sydney Council and Waverley Council. We got lots of questions. I couldn't get through them all on the webinar, but some further links for you that might help to answer those questions. Rochelle is helping me out here today, and she is going to pop into our comments section on Facebook, and we will get them over to LinkedIn as well if you're watching that here, our resources. Now, we have an article supplied to us by Waverley Council through their Second Nature program, Solar for Apartments, Key Things That You Need to Know. We've got a link to that online article. Go and check that one out. And in answer to some questions that were raised on the webinar, we have a link to an article, I believe, just from yesterday, because this is new, this is happening now. The Australian Energy Market Commission proposal to charge householders to export their energy to the grid from their solar. We've got an article on that from reneweconomy.com.au. Some facts there for you. Check that out if that's something you're interested in finding out more about. Very, very new information there. And we had a question, a very good question about solar panel recycling and whether they can be recycled, what the process is, so that we can answer those questions when they may be put to us by our committees or by our owners. What happens with these solar panels? This again is something that's very new. Not many old panels out there, and the recycling question just coming up now. So I understand from Ethan Burns at Sustainability Now, there are a few companies doing this recycling, and he has a link that he's provided for us, pvindustries.com.au. That's a company that apparently comes recommended, generally a free service. So we'll pop the link to PV Industries there in the comments for you as well. Now, I know that what I delivered on the webinar yesterday excuse me, was surprising for some of our attendees. The new legislation in New South Wales that is intended to make it easier for our strata buildings to approve sustainability infrastructure, which includes solar panels, is perhaps a little bit more complex. There's a little bit more involved there than some of us thought, me included there. The new legislation that I'm talking about and that I talk about in some detail on the webinar is Section 132B of the Strata Schemes Management Act in New South Wales. We do have a link for you direct to that section from Austlii, so you can click through and have a read. I'm providing the Austlii link because helpfully that section also has hyperlinks to other important sections where you'll find definitions of sustainability infrastructure and definitions of sustainability infrastructure resolutions. So that's a good link to go and explore the legislation close up if you want to do that. What does Section 132B tell us? It says that before approving sustainability infrastructure, which includes our solar, it includes electric vehicle charging, if you are doing some lighting upgrades to put energy saving lights in, before you approve that work, an owner's corporation must consider 4 things in particular. You have to consider the cost of the sustainability infrastructure, including any expected running and maintenance costs. You have to consider who's going to own, install, and maintain the sustainability infrastructure, the extent to which the use of the sustainability infrastructure will be available to all or just some of the lots in the strata scheme. And lastly, you have to consider any other matter that is set out in the regulations. Now, at the time I'm talking about this, we don't have any regulations that require us to consider anything else, but I do remind you of that because you do need to keep checking whether the strata scheme management regulation has been updated to put in place any other considerations that an owner's corporation must take into account when looking at approving sustainability infrastructure. So they're the 4 things you'll see set out in section 132B. On the webinar, I recommended that best practice for an owner's corporation would be to confirm that it has considered these things by resolving at a general meeting that it has considered these things. Probably a good idea, most efficient, to do that at the same meeting at which you are approving the sustainability infrastructure itself. Now, speaking of the approval of sustainability infrastructure, let's say that we're talking about solar panels, for instance. That installation of solar panels requires approval by special resolution. But it's a different type of special resolution to what we are used to. It's what I'm calling a very special resolution, what our legislation actually calls a sustainability infrastructure resolution. That resolution will pass if less than 50% of votes are against it. Okay, have a think about that. Like a normal special resolution, okay, the votes are counted on a unit entitlement basis. So our sustainability infrastructure resolutions are counted on a unit entitlement basis. The vote will pass if less than 50% of votes are against. So that means 49.99% of votes cast on a motion to install solar panels for the common property are against, the motion is going to pass. The sustainability infrastructure resolution is achieved. Surprising, perhaps, that a proposal like this can get through with no support, nobody voting in favour. Yes, if the motion is put and votes are only cast against, as long as it's not 50% or more, then the motion is going to pass. It was the intention of our legislature that it would be and it should be easier to get these proposals across the line. So I think that's what this drafting is intended to do. I do get into that in a lot more detail on the webinar, so do go and check out the replay. This is just your webinar light, your summary of what we got stuck into yesterday, the webinar replay over at solarlegalkit.com. Now, what is this solar legal kit that I speak of? I have promised to give you a little insight, a closer look at my copy of the kit. I'm going to do that now by sharing with you my screen. Let's see how we go. Rochelle will let me know if this share is not working, but I think it's up there. This is the Solar for Strata Legal Toolkit. Now, this is delivered to you in a Word version. You're looking at the Word document here. So when you come to the motions and the bylaw, they're fully adaptable and editable for you. Table of contents there tells us what's in it, where to find everything. I'm going to scroll through. Try not to make you too seasick. But we've got some background information there on why this is so important. We cover off the approval threshold, what I've been explaining about the very special resolution, the Sustainability Infrastructure Resolution. We have our template motions and a bylaw for lot owner installations. We're covering off the 4 things that section 132B requires us to cover off. You can see them there in the template. and a template bylaw for lot owners wanting to install solar with all of the protections that we like to add in as strata lawyers acting for owners corporations to make sure that all bases are covered. I'm going to move down quite quickly, if you don't mind, to the suggested plans we have attached to the bylaw and suggested technical specifications. These are always going to come from the installer, the manufacturer of your solar panels, but these are some suggestions for how you might like to set it out in the bylaw. A consent form, of course, because pursuant to Section 108 and Section 143, our owners have to consent to the shifting of responsibility for the common property over to them. And these are our motions for owners corporations wanting to install solar. Section 108 resolution, and also the 4 things, again, that owners corporations have to consider pursuant to Section 132B. Now, that is a sneak peek, not all of it, can't show you all of it, guys, of our Solar for Strata Legal Toolkit. What is in there and how it's going to help you as owners, as committees to comply with these new requirements in our legislation. Now, if you want to get your hands on the kit, then you have 2 options at the moment. First up, you can grab a copy of the kit only for $197, or until midnight this Sunday, the 1st of May, I am gifting you a copy of the Legal Toolkit when you join us inside the membership, the Your Strata Property online membership community. The very cool thing about that is that the price for membership right now is just $147. So that is actually $50 less than just buying the toolkit. All of the orders that have been coming through over the last 24 hours have been taking up this option B, purchasing the membership and getting the toolkit in there for free. With the membership option, you get all the benefits of membership, which includes our entire templates library. So it's not just the legal toolkit. There's 23 other templates in there waiting for you. Our Q&A forum, where you can ask me any strata question anytime, and you can learn from our growing community of owners and strata managers sharing their experiences and their expertise in there. Members have the opportunity for a 1-hour one-on-one member call with me where we can work through your specific strata problem and find solutions for you, and much, much more. You can find out about everything that's included in the membership, plus read the comments from our current members who are loving it on the inside over at solarlegalkit.com. Now, that option to get your $50 off the usual price of the Solar Legal Kit and also take up membership, that option ends at midnight this Sunday. That's Australian Eastern Standard Time. So now's the time to jump in. I have heard from lots of you who are already in there and having a look at the kit, how excited you are to start using the kit to install solar in your communities. Keep that coming. I want to hear from you all. I have heard from Sean that the webinar has him thinking about the possibilities for his building. Dean said that he can't wait to bring this to his committee. I'm hearing lots of excitement out there for what our future might look like, our more sustainable future. So nice work, guys. Let's get this done the right way and enjoy what we can achieve in our strata communities. Now, that is all from me this afternoon. That is your wrap up and your summary, your webinar light. I hope to see you all on the inside very, very soon. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and I will catch you next time. Bye-bye.